Let's look at the selection structures. So most of the time, the find function should be used instead of an if. However, there are certain situations where if is the appropriate process to use. The if allow programmer to execute one command if one criteria is true. It uses logical conditions to evaluate the criteria. This is the syntax for a simple if statements. So it starts with the word if the comparison will be using the relational and logical operators. So if the comparison is true, the statements between the if and the and statement are executed. However, if the comparison is false, the program does not execute these statements and jumps immediately to the statement following and. So let's look at this example here. We head to our MATLAB. So G will be provided using the input command. And then we type the if word. So if followed by the comparison. Comparison is done using this relational operator. So if G is less than 50, we ask MATLAB to display this statement. And then display G and run this section, and then we try to enter a value of G. Okay, first let's try value of 20, which is clearly less than 50. So what happened is MATLAB will display these two statements. Now let's try again, but now let's try a number which is greater than 50. Let's try 100. So when we use input G value as 100, MATLAB will evaluate this comparison as false. It is because 100 is obviously greater than 50. It is not less than 50. So when the results of this comparison is false, it will not display all these two and directly end the program. So that's why there is nothing appear on command window. If statements, it is easy to interpret if you are using scalars or single numbers. So what does an if statement mean if the comparison includes a matrix? So for the matrix, the comparison is only true if it is true for every member of the array or every element of the array. So let's head back to our first example, but now instead of using G as a single value, we try to define G as an array that have 3 elements like this. So open your MATLAB. So G now is a vector that consists of 3 elements, 30, 55 and 10. Try run this section, so nothing will happen. Okay, why? You can see that the code inside the statement, these two, is not executed because the comparison is not true. The comparison is false because at least one of the elements in G has a value that is greater than 50. Therefore, the code inside the if statement doesn't execute. Okay, you have to remember when you are doing comparison within an array or a matrix, the results for the comparison must be true for the all elements. Only then the results for the whole comparison is treated as true. Alright, if there is one element that is false, so MATLAB will treat it as false comparison for all for the whole comparison. Okay, but if we change the comparison, the condition, okay, so instead of G less than 50, we change it to G less than 70. What happened is the MATLAB will display these two statements because it is true for all of the elements in G. All the elements in G vector is less than 70, so the whole elements comparison is true. So that's why this display command is being displayed on command window.